Initially, this video was going to be about Nothing Phone 4a Pro's cameras, but then it got delayed, and delayed. At that point, I thought, you know what? Instead of making a camera review, why not make a whole review and make the camera the main focus? Thus, this video. But still, there is a lot to talk about apart from the cameras, like how well the whole AI system is integrated in this phone, what features they have given us, is Snapdragon 7s Gen 4 justified in this budget, and most importantly of all, with how the price have been increasing in this market, is this even worth it? Let's find out. And we will start with the design. What's more to say that has been said about this design? Nothing this time around really refined their design philosophically and made a fantastic looking smartphone. Everything from the metal unibody to the camera plateau, the Glyph Matrix, everything feels more intentional than compared to Nothing Phone 3. If we compare to Nothing Phone 3, that phone's design felt more playful and creative, but I'll be the first to admit it genuinely felt a bit messy. And that's not just me. Other people that I talk to in Twitter or in real life also agreed with me. But this time around, with Nothing Phone 4a Pro's design, whatever they have done with this thing, they kind of merged those two crowds and in a positive light, because both of those group now like this design. Like, it feels much more mature than Phone 3. And even apart from the design, the construction itself feels more premium, more robust than Phone 3a Pro. Yeah, I have to say, the metal constructions are really underrated. They need to make a comeback in 2026. Yes, glass is premium, feels cold in hand, but so does metal. But the thing is, metal is much more resistant to drops. I think we can integrate metals better in mid-range phones, because the companies don't already give us wireless charging, so might as well give us metals, right? That would be a fair trade-off. The phone would still feel really premium like this. And it is not just me, the camera and everything, the placement, everything feels just much more mature and intentional. Even my friends agree that this design feels much more premium. It feels much better as compared to Phone 3. So I'd like to give this design a definite 10 out of 10, and that pink looks beautiful. Now let's talk about the display. The display of Nothing Phone 4a Pro is not unlike anything they have released so far. It is still a gorgeous display. It even supports 144 Hz, which I think they are doing for the first time, and everything from the colors and as such looks really well. By the way, the 144 Hz only works in apps like Twitter or playing games. I have tested that out, and the UI is only limited to 120 Hz. So do keep that in mind. The display itself has great brightness and contrast. In fact, they claim this display to have 5000 nits of peak brightness, which is insane, but I have no way to test that claim out. You can find other videos on YouTube. Some YouTubers have tested with their high-end gadgets to really test their claims, so you can watch those videos. But in my practical, honest, real-life testing, from what I found, the display brightness is pretty adequate. Even in sunlight in harsh scenarios, the brightness is good. The other parts that I can verify though are the colors. The color of the display looks gorgeous and beautiful. The 1:1 contrast ratio that they have, it's AMOLED. I mean, we already have that. It is beautiful. The HDR is beautifully implemented. Every HDR video really pops with those colors, and The brightness is adequate. It is similar to phone 3 in those regards. Both of the display were really good. But one thing they did upgrade this time around is that 97.3% screen to body ratio, which makes it is pretty edge to edge, and bezels are this thing. I mean, look at that. It genuinely looks beautiful. The bezels are even comparable to the new iPhones that came out. The iPhone 17 I'm talking about actually. It came out last year, but anyway, it is still beautiful. I have to applaud it. Kudos, nothing. It also has 2160 Hz of PWM dimming, which they did not nerf this time around, and which I'm really happy about. I'm a night owl. I watch late night videos. I should probably stop those, but in my testing throughout this entire month, I didn't hurt my eyes that much. I like to give this display a 9.5 out of 10. It's a magnificent display. It's beautiful. While we are on the display part though, let's talk about the speakers real quick. The speaker quality itself is good. There is bass, but it is bit too. It's noticeable bass, but I'd say that much. It won't blow your socks off. Let's just say the vocals are good. The trebles and high notes are really good. It's V-shaped curve and everything. It's really good, I'd say. But there is so much these tiny speakers can do. We still live in this physics-based world, right? I'll say the sound signature itself is it can be a bit better though for your testing. Speaker quality is good, but albeit a bit too underwhelming in some parts. Basically, especially the sound bit is a bit too low from my hearing. My hearing isn't lost yet. Yeah, but still, it can be a bit better. I'd say as much. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, I'm being generous. I'll give it 8 out of 10. As for the microphone quality, it is really good. I have no complaints with that, but I do have one problem, and I think that is more related to Geo than nothing. But the signal has been dropping out a lot lately, out of 5G, no matter which room I'm in. I mean, sometimes it jumps down to 4G, sometimes jump back to 5G. I don't know what's happening, but I am seeing the same pattern with my phone 2A as well. I think that is because of the Geo's malfunctioning towers or something. They need to put up more towers, honestly. Yeah, actually that kind of hindered a lot of my testings because a call quality randomly dropping. It gets a bit annoying, honestly. I'll rate my microphones 9 out of 10. Let's say. Now, these are all the generic part we typically talk about in the review videos, but this phone is not generic, and that's especially because of this thing right here, the Glyph Matrix. The implementation this time around, as they said in the briefing, is more efficiency focused. It does all the thing that phone 3 did, minus all the creative stuff. You can still capture mirrored selfies, see the glyph progress, or set timers, etc. But you can't use that button, that capacity button that phone 3 had, because this thing doesn't have that. To suppose capture mirror selfies, you have to use the shutter button in the camera itself. But even without that button, the Glyph Matrix still has a lot of function. It has some nice animation. I feel like the animation this time have been improved. The generative call and notification sound are still there, which are really fun. Honestly, that's one of the more interesting part of Nothing Phones now. That each of the caller ID would automatically translate to a new ringtone, essentially, so you know that if your mom's calling or not. That have been helpful in a lot of scenarios for me, I'd say. But one thing I have been really impressed about is with the Android 16 live notification feature that have been perfectly implemented with this phone, Glyph Matrix. The Glyph progress actually works. So let's say suppose you're ordering some food on Zomato or some items on Blinkit. Let's just say ice cream. Yeah, it's summer here. I'm ordering ice cream. It will check through the app, check through the Android 16 progress live a notification progress, and actually show the number itself, that is arriving in 7 minutes, arriving in 5 minutes, like that in the background. So you, and there would be a little grip progress type of thing. So it will be really helpful for you to see when the orders coming. It is incredibly useful and it is well implemented as well. Overall, I am really liking the Glyph Matrix implementation, and combining Glyph Matrix with the essential button gives you the option for essential recording. If you're in a meeting or you wanna yap about something for a long time, you can just you can just set down the phone to flip to Glyph mode and just press down on the essential key to activate that thing, and it records your whole conversation perfectly with the speaker's distinction and talking points as such. It even summarizes everything perfectly. It is genuinely useful in that way. Speaking of essential key, let's talk about essential space. This time around, I have to say they have improved the essential space features a lot. I used a more essential space feature than I have ever done in any other phones, in any other nothing phones I have got. I'll straight up admit. But by far the best essential feature for me at least is the essential voice. It's a little pill at the corner of your keyboard, or the essential key press when you have the keyboard itself. It kind of works like Whisper Flow or any other adjacent apps that would record your voice and transcribe it to the English language or any language you are speaking about. Basically, a dictation feature on the fly using AI. Yes, it goes up to the cloud, uses with a whisper model for translation, I believe, and it gives you the answer right away. And it is genuinely useful for me. I can just yap about stuff for a long time and it will perfectly dictate everything that I said. You can even customize it. Like, suppose you wanna give someone your email, you can just utter my email, and if you set the configuration in the right way, it will automatically paste your email right there on the spot. I think this type of features are really useful, and it genuinely a game changer. You can call any other feature gimmick, but this feature is genuinely useful and game changer. I'd say. I'm really impressed by this. From my initial testing of this feature though, it was a bit more formal, let's just say. That means it would ignore more slang or casual type words, such as if I'm uttering a sentence and I say bro, man, it would just simply trim those out and form a more formal type sentence. But the best part is it actually adapts to your speech. So later on, decide it actually decided to keep those words and make the word feel more casual as I was intending it to do. So the AI over time recognizes your speech patterns and makes itself better. I think this feature has a lot of potential. I love this feature. I am using this feature nearly every day. And fun fact, I actually use this feature to write my script. About 30% of it though. It was good, and the dictation, everything was really good. The speed, the about the speed, it was I'd say a bit slow because it takes time to really understand what you have said and then type it out. But in terms of long speeches, it is fast. As for the other essential features, the normal ones are still here, such as screen capture, adding voice notes for reminders as such. And I generally use more than before. And they seem to have improved those, I feel like. Because, as for example, I was interested in this Summer Game Fest. I wanted to see this the games reveal. So I just fed it the screenshot. It automatically recognized the dates and time and even the venue of it. I of course won't go. It was an unnecessary information for me, but still the fact that it recognized it and perfectly put it on maps is commendable. But I have to say one thing. I was really bothersome about, and I'd like to see nothing improve, is the time zone system. Right now, the time zones are a bit skewed, I'd say, because uh, let's just say it says 10 a.m. EST, it will just recognize the 10 a.m. and ignore the EST part. I hope they can give us an option in the settings to mention that what country or region we are in. So it will automatically detect that this is from a different time code and it should be translated to IST. If I'm living in India, for example, that I am. I think that would be really, really helpful and it would save some time and friction from the whole experience. Because currently we have to go ahead and edit it, set in the right time, calculate it for ourselves as such, or specifically mention to the uh, essential space that I want to have it in IST. It's a bit bothersome. Also, another feature I'd like to request is using this thing in other spaces like in my laptop or my other devices. I'd like to see it elsewhere because that would be really helpful to see when my meeting's coming. Let's just say when a specific thing is coming so that I can manage it everywhere I want. These are my stuff that I wanted to say. I rate it 8.5 out of 10. Also, the same rating goes for the Glyph Matrix. Since we are talking about all these web-based features, let's talk about NothingOS as a whole. This time around, they have given us NothingOS 4.1 and it improves a lot of stuff and a lot of experience in the whole UI. There are some genuinely much needed improvements, I'd say here, that we as a community have been asking for a long time. Some good quality of life features includes hidden folders and some good level of customization as well, like that lock screen background foreground effect for the clock. That is really nice. There are some AI features in the galleries as well to remove objects, remove background reflections, etc. A lot of things in gallery is improved as well apart from the AI features such as adding text or adding markings, etc. Those basic features, and as a whole the gallery experience have been improved a lot. If you had some suggestion to give, I'd like to see Google Cloud Backup implemented in Nothing Gallery. I have a 5 terabyte Google Cloud storage plan that I'd like to use in my Nothing Gallery. Currently, I have to use Nothing Gallery and Google Photos, which is a bit inconvenient. I'd like to use one or the other, and I'd like that to be Nothing Gallery because it feels a lot faster than Google Photos, let's just say. So I'd like to see Google Cloud Backup. Another feature that community members, we as a community, has been asking for a long time is the one swipe down brightness slider in the quick settings. And currently, we have to do two swipe downs, which is a bit inconvenient, to be honest. And in all other OSs, they just do one swipe down to get it. I don't get it why nothing does this way. They should implement it in one swipe down for the brightness slider. I hope they can do it in the next update because we as a community have been asking for it for a long time. I seen Twitter, I've seen Nothing Community, etc. I'd like to have that. Also, by the way, I wanted to speak about haptics a bit. I heard that they added some type of haptic feedback for the volume slider in Phone 3, like step by step volume slider. I think that's a great improvement, but I'd like to see haptic implementation in more of the OS, like in the brightness slider, recent app section, while scrolling down the dock, because haptic makes the OS feel alive, in my opinion. Currently, even my Realme X7 Max has better implementation than this. So, in future, I'd like to see more improvement done in this department. As for the whole NothingOS experience, there is no complaint in my department. I'd say this has been my most stable NothingOS experience I ever had. Everything felt intentional and stable. I didn't have one single app crash in this whole journey. They have really honed down in optimization of this OS and it feels so good. There is no hiccups, there is no lags, and the OS feels pretty smooth, partly because of Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 and partly because of NothingOS's magnificent optimization. They're crackheads over there, they're optimizing the hell out of this. I can't lie. This type of optimization really pays off, I'd say. Overall, I'd like to give NothingOS 8.5 out of 10. I will be docking some points because of those features lacking, because we still need this type of improvements done in this OS, and I would love to see this OS improve in the future. Now let's talk about performance for a bit. This time they have given us Snapdragon 7 Gen 4, which is different from Phone 4's 7s Gen 4, by the way. From what I understand, this thing has a bit more clock speed, a better CPU, and a bit better GPU, from what I know. And this kind of translates to real life usage as well. The whole way felt smooth. It runs 144 Hz really well, and day to day Twitter scrolling, YouTube scrolling, Instagram scrolling, Facebook scrolling have been really smooth because it often uses 144 Hz in those apps. I do have one complaint, and I think that is because of Facebook and not Nothing. Now, I don't know, it might be because of Nothing as well, but I'm still saying while scrolling on Facebook in some areas, it often lags a lot. I have seen this in Phone 2a, but I thought that it was a Phone 2a problem. But now that I'm seeing this in Phone 4a Pro, I feel like this is a Facebook problem. And I don't know if it is specific to Nothing devices or it is happening on other devices as well. But the scrolling has been really choppy and laggy for some reason. It doesn't have happen in any other apps such as Twitter, etc. Because everything else uses 144 Hz refresh rate and the UI itself uses 120 Hz refresh rate, and that feels really smooth. Other than that, the whole UI feels really smooth. The 144 Hz works its magic, and it is really stable. As for gaming, you are asking the wrong person, honestly. I don't game that much on my phone. I basically game more on my PC. I'm a Valorant and GTA 5 player. We sometimes play RDR 2. The more I don't play any competitive shooter games or heavy games like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves. I just play Clash of Clans. That is competitive, right? Basically, nowadays Clash of Clans can be run in a fridge at this point. So there is not much point talking about Clash of Clans, but I'll still talk about it. The 144 Hz refresh rate works really well in the game. The I've done some war attacks as such in heavy scenarios. Sorry, in heavy sceneries as such, and the phone has been performing really well. So it is clear that this processor is well optimized. But let's now address the elephant in the room. Currently, this phone is priced at 50K, and at this price, we have many more options to get, like OnePlus 15R. And if you're looking just for performance, that is a mile ahead. That phone is mile ahead. It has 8 Gen 5, which is much faster than 7 Gen 4. But then again, I guess we are sacrificing some performance for a better all-rounder phone, I guess. But if you are just looking for performance, there are definitely better phone in this budget. I'd suggest go for OnePlus 15R if you are looking for just performance and performance only. Sorry, I tasted for Fortnite on Phone 4a, and that gave me medium settings 60 fps performance. So I'd expect better performance here, maybe high 60 fps. So do keep that in mind. Overall, I'd like to give this phone a solid 7.5 out of 10. Battery. What goes well with performance? Battery. The battery of Nothing Phone 4a Pro is once again magnificent. I'd go as far as to say that this is the best battery backup I've experienced from any other Nothing phones. It has a 5400 milliampere cell, which is a bit less than phone 3's 5500 milliampere, but I'd say this phone gives me better battery backup than phone 3. The phone 3 often gave me around 1 day battery, 1.5 day battery, and this gives me easily 2 days of battery. That's how good it is. I think it is partly because of the processor it has. It has a bit more efficient processor compared to phone 3, and the NothingOS optimization is better as well. I have ended multiple days with 50% on the tank. Even with 10 hours of usage, it is still staying at like 25%, which is insane, mind-boggling. You can just see some of the battery backup percentage sorry, battery matrix I'm showing. It is incredible. The battery simply refuses to die actually. Like what can I say? It is incredible, and this is honestly my favorite part of this phone. As for the charging, it supports up to 50 watts of charging, but I don't have the gear to charge. You can watch any other review videos for that. Yeah, the battery is my favorite part by far. They cooked with this. Yeah, but now I'm just imagining. Imagine a nothing phone with a silicon carbon battery. That would be insane. That phone won't die ever. Like 7000 mAh with nothing OS's optimization is insane. I hope that they do it in future. They explore this idea with future flagship or mid-range phones. That phone would last at least 3 days, I'd say, because this thing already lasts 2 days, which is insane, bro. Even with video recording and camera usage as well, it. I have gone multiple hours of 4K recording on my Mayapur trip, and this battery refuses to die. Let's just say it keeps giving and giving and giving. Like even multiple hours later, it still has the juice to go 1 or 2 hours more. It is insane, bro. Insane. By the way, one thing I didn't talk about in performance part of this is that it heats up a lot, especially when video recording. It is partly because of the processor cooling, and it is partly because of this Indian summer weather, which is heating me up. So of course it will heat this poor phone. The temperature hasn't been alarming. It just gets a bit too warm in the back when gaming or doing any heavy tasks like 4K video recording. Um, and that is not negative. Don't think that just because this phone heats, it's the negative aspect of this phone. It has a uni metal body. Let's be honest right here, and that metal body uh, is basically absorbing from the vapor chamber cooling system to dissipate heat out. It dissipates the heat out better than other nothing phones because it has a bigger surface area, so it can run 4K recording or like heavy gaming sessions for a long time. It gets a bit of a heated, but that's more because of physics. We have learned in physics, right, that metal is a great conductor of heat, right? So that is what's working right here. Yeah. Overall, I'd like to give battery 10 out of 10. I love this battery. I can't praise this battery enough. Now let's hope for the future where nothing phone gets silicon carbon battery finally manifesting.